Live.
3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Believe it or not, here we are again for another fun-filled, exciting night. And I'm joined by my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Trina Phoenix. And tonight, our special guest is Steve Zerilath and his, I can't remember what the lizard thing's name is. Sorry. What is it?
It's Lock.
Lock, that's it. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I'm thinking, I know it. But there you go. Sorry.
Wayne always messes up and says Loki, which is subconsciously, it's Loki.
yes. So I know. But anyway, we're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. And as you know, Steve has been on Wayne's show a bunch of times. He's reading the runes and the cards, and you do the runes or just the card, or you do the runes. Do you do cards?
Okay. Yeah. I use I have 5 different tarot decks, and then I have my personal rune set, and then also there's a complimentary animal spirit divination card that also goes into the spread system that I operate with.
Oh wow. That is way cool. But tonight we gotta say hi to a lot of people in the chat who are joining us. We got Grandpa Brian, who is gonna throw a big party around Memorial Day for the whole Soul Tribe. If you want to go get in on that, drop in, say hi. I can't go. I gotta work my 10-day and I'm gonna be on call. Sorry, but maybe we'll have to have one for the people out in the Northeast, and then we'll have to have, or whatever, the east side, and then we'll have to have one for the west side. We'll all meet up in Sedona or something.
Sedona would be great.
Oh, I would love to go there. That was kind of my plan.
I'm going to make it though to the gathering. I'm going to try to do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I still want to go to Sedona this year. Me, you, and a few other people that live out that way can meet up. I know a lot of people live out in Arizona area. This would be great, a great meetup place. But I've never been to Sedona. I think it'd be awesome. But some guy who does get around all over the place and is in Texas, or he's in Texas on the way to Atlanta, is Big Al, who's he's driving the truck. And we got Max Vision, who's probably remote viewed this whole show already, and we know he has. We got Lucky Stone, and he is saying thank you to Ariel and Poyel for the much prosperity that the Soul Tribe is receiving. And Project Skyfalls is in the house, and Zigzagzilla, who in next month, Zigzagzilla and Max Vision are coming on for a show all about frequency. I finally got them all worked up together, and they're going to come on, and we're going to do a frequency show, which is going to be great. We got Deborah Sloan in the house. We got Susie Q. She's in the house. I bet you she's going to go see Grandpa Brian and hang out around the campfire. She's down in that area somewhere, I think. And we have Slightly Slanted Sleuth, Steve, who dropped in earlier to say that he got the Rona and he's probably didn't get as bad as me. And we got Troublesome 93. Let's see. There you go. Well, thank you for coming. I haven't seen you in here before, but thank you. And you're going to be great. We got Isby, and Isby's going to come on, and we're going to do a show all about, where do I got that book? Oh, I got that book. And everybody loves not that book. Sorry. This book. No, this book. Wrong book. Anyway,
Robert's got a lot of books.
I got, hang on, everybody. Wrong book. Oh, well. I can't find that book. I had that book right there just a little bit ago, too. What did I do with it? Losing my mind. That's it. Okay. That's it. I put it right there so I could find it. King Og. We're going to do King Og again. I know Wayne did King Og, but I don't think he finished the whole thing. But we're going to do King Og, and we're going to talk about it and discuss King Og, because that is an awesome book. Tells you all kinds of good stuff.
I can't believe he didn't finish the whole thing. Really?
I don't think he finished the whole thing.
It felt like I mean, I know that the last chapters were post flood. Seemed like it was to the end.
Yeah, it was close. I think he kind of went through it, but we're gonna go through it a little more. And I love that book, and it kind of, I think Wayne starts out a lot of books. And hi, Wayne out there. I know you're probably watching, so hello. He starts out books, I think the idea is that he gets you going, and the idea is for you to do the work and read the book.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
he gets you involved. I got this other book here too. Oh, I'll find it in a little bit when you guys are talking, but it's one of my favorites lately. No, not that one. This one is too. We're going to have Nina on, and we're going to do the Tartaria Mud Flood book. I've been reading this one, and I got another. I got the big book in color, so you guys are going to have color pages to look at. Look at that. We got color. Woo! I'm going to run them off.
Have you guys watched my Tartaria research stuff?
No, I have not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because my last appearance on Wayne was on the Tartaria subject.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
because he had just started getting into it. It's like, ooh, I know how to explain this without sounding like a crazy person.
yeah.
Yes.
That's to me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Or like I popped about like some of these guys. It's like, you know, it's like John Levy. It's just like I love him, but he does his show on Valium. It feels like.
Exactly.
You know. We need some pep in the step for this freaking kind of research.
But I'm looking for somebody who would like to do a show on this, the mystery of the cathedrals, or the great, it's called the Mystery Cross of Hindi, Mysterious Cross of Hindi. I watched a few videos on somebody who did that, and it seemed really interesting, so I'm going to read about it, and I would like to do something if somebody would like to join me out there on that show, if they know more about it than me, which is probably a lot more because I haven't read the book yet.
Wow.
But yeah, but thanks to Wayne, he gets us started on all these things. But the thing is if you follow up on it, read up on it, it sparks your interest. It gets you going, like that book Word Magic. Remember we started in on the word. And I bought the book and I've been reading that little by little, because it's short spots about different things. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
We should do a show on word magic. I would like to do that. That's a great book. Great.
You got it. You got it. We will. Oh, I'd be tickled. I would be tickled.
What I've been reading the last few days, again, drawn to is the Nag Hammadi scriptures. That's a mind-blowing text.
Yeah, we could do several shows on that one. I got Delbar. He's going to be on, and Mandy Moo. I've been talking with her, but she's been pretty busy with her crystal shows and her four-wheeling stuff and things like that. But you guys,
say a prayer right now for Australia. They're getting hit with flooding, really bad flooding. So pray that this storm dissipates. It lightens up and moves out of there. It's been hanging out. It's been hanging and it's just rotating over them, just dumping. So they need a little support. So say a prayer to Australia.
Yeah, that wasn't a few years back. They had just nothing but drought, and now they're getting a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Well, it is some of the country on it would be the western coast or the eastern coast. Western coast is tropical. Isn't that like a tropical rainforest out there? The half of it, like where Sydney is, I think along the one coast is tropical rainforest, and then the middle is like desert, and then it's good on the other side. So
yeah, I think they've got pretty much all climates. I think they've got forests and everything, so they've got a little bit of everything. Australia is huge.
Oh yeah, I should
mostly just know like the more desert-esque part of it. That's what you see a lot in various films and whatnot. I don't know much about the forests in Australia.
Yeah, I know it's tropical rainforest on some of it, but what it all is, I don't know. I
think JCK that she's a YouTuber, and JCK, she's in Australia, but she's up in the mountains and it's forest and it's snowing, and she's like, yeah, it's like being up north here, like Arizona, we're in the desert, but up north, like there's like 2 foot of snow right now at our cabin. So
oh wow.
Most of the Australians I know, they typically end up being from Melbourne. Funny.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of people doing the freedom movement stuff, truth movement stuff out of Melbourne.
Right on.
Oh, okay. Hey, I got something to share with you guys right now.
All right.
Hang on, and I'm going to share. This is a picture I got sent from, I think Mandy Moo sent me this. And this is can you see all that? Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on.
There we
Nope.
go.
Okay.
There we go. There's a picture of the beautiful forest of Australia. You can see
It's
the
so beautiful.
Nice.
it. Oh, I know. It's
Yeah.
I wonder if I can scroll. Oh yeah, there you go. There's some more views. Ain't that beautiful?
It's so beautiful.
Oh man, Australia, everybody. Australia. I think there's one more picture. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I tried to do some mountain climbing today with a friend, and he went for the hardest possible route on the iciest possible day. So the mountain defeated me.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was so bummed because like it's like one of those it's one of those things that kind of feels like a rite of passage in the area, because like I knew several people that I said like, oh man, you've never been to Breakneck Ridge. It's called Breakneck Ridge. It's in the Hudson Valley, New York. So I tried that and I got not even like an eighth of the way up the mountain. It was sad. So I have a nemesis that I must defeat now.
Yeah. Well, you gotta get in shape. I see some of those videos. You're doing some boxing stuff. So tell us a little bit about that. Are you working up, trying to get healthy and doing the boxing thing? Or
back around October, November, my friend who you see in those little boxing clips, he kept encouraging me to work out with him because it's his thing. He has an actual interest in being a personal trainer. So I'm getting free personal training by being his guinea pig while I, get the exercise out of it. And so, I've lost maybe about 25 pounds since
great.
that's happened. The only reason why that mountain really defeated me was because I'd never done anything that dangerous at that incline before, because like all the working out that I had done, with the exception of the fact that I'm still not there yet with my arm strength and pulling up like my whole body weight, like all the stretching I've been doing and all the leg muscles I put in, like that wasn't the stuff that was holding me back, So I was feeling really good about it one way or the other. But yeah, no, these are all just changes that I need to do to add to just my need to have better physical capability. I think it's going to be important for my life in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to be physically fit. I know myself in the winter, I kind of get let go. There's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
And then you sit around and it's too cold. I was complaining today because every weekend that I have off, it's 20 degrees below zero, or it's zero or whatever. Who wants to do anything? I mean, I got a couple of horses I could go ride. I got a four-wheeler to go ride, and I got hiking trails that are full of snow. I got all these places and things to do. But when it's 20 below zero, you're not doing anything except sitting in and watching movies and pigging out.
Yeah, exactly. It can get like that. It's like I definitely like I just started getting into the jogging aspect of it. Otherwise, I'm just doing cardio in the house. Because it's just too cold to run out there and even jog, especially for me at like novice level here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just take it easy and work yourself up. Eventually you'll get up to it,
Oh yeah, it's only uphill from here, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That is really awesome. Well, anyway, I want to say hi to everybody else that came in a little bit late, but they're here. Grumpy Stack's in the house. Grandpa Brian's in the house. Karen Lynn's in the house. Mary Wins is come to join us. Hello, Mary. And Ruth Ann John is in the house. And I do want to say that I seen what was it? Isby's here. Let's see. I do want to say my condolences to Martin and Heidi. Martin passed away.
I know, so sad.
That's very sad. And big hugs to Heidi. If y'all didn't know, just send her healing energy and warm hugs, because it's a hard thing to go through. So please, everybody.
And her son Tony.
Oh yeah, and her son Tony. But anyway, that it's just something to think about. I mean, we all take things for granted, and when something like that happens, it's one of the soul tribe.
Send comfort and peace.
We'll
love.
meet him. We'll meet him on the other side. He's hanging out with Brian right now.
Absolutely,
So.
absolutely. I wonder if this is part of how we connect heaven on earth, is understanding that when we transition, we're still connected. It's just a different way, but we're still connected, and our thoughts are connected, and it's a web of consciousness that we build here, but we're also working with the web of consciousness above. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. We're just in the physical form here, trying to, I guess this is the part where you learn the lessons. You learn, you can make mistakes, and then you can feel the mistakes. You don't have that all knowing. Whereas in the other realm, you're going to be easily connected to everything. So you're going to know everything. How could you make, mistakes? You know what I'm saying? Time and energy you could be anywhere at any time, but you can't physically distort that time, right? You get where I'm trying to say?
I think it depends on what dimension you're in.
Yeah.
Because they all have different laws and rules and abilities, capabilities.
Yeah.
And then there's your ability, then there's your knowledge of all of those laws and rules, so on and so forth, as well as knowledge of self. So that way you can turn that into practical application and apply your will to have some semblance of control, and that's magic.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of magic and all these other things, tell us a little bit. We'll first start out. You're an interesting guy. I could see the thing. I wear the hat. You wear a lizard. Isn't it really like a lizard, or is it the lizard, right?
It's an iguana. It says lizard as lizards get.
Okay. I didn't know if there was different terms for but anyway,
yeah.
How did you get into what you do? I mean, I know you read runes and cards and things like that. Did you know that you had intuitive power? Did you just learn this stuff? How did you get interested? Because, when I grew up and stuff, nobody did that stuff. That was like voodoo, Oh my God, burn you at the stake kind of thing in my hometown.
Yeah. It's such a strange combination of things, because a lot of decisions, when I started getting more closely exposed to this stuff, like I just kind of like went with it on an internal, that's for me kind of vibe, because maybe I thought it was cool at the very least, because maybe it was a younger kind of mentality, and I just kind of held on to it. I was more of a kid in living in fantasy worlds in my head in the first place, right? It's just like I didn't have as good social skills as I had an interest in watching television and all of those things, and oh boy, Transformers and Dungeons and Dragons and all those things, and that kind of world kind of crept up on me, and then occult influences in music also, which I didn't necessarily pay too much attention to that aspect, other than as an aesthetic, until later on, and then I had to also go through the purging of the of the old world that you're attached to, right? Because your family tries to raise you. They tried to raise me as a Catholic kid, and I rebelled out of Catholicism into a Pentecostal church before I rebelled out of organized religion, right? So I went through that level of transition process, which because I still wanted to be spiritual. I was still into the energy, the thing. I started separating creator God from religion and saying like there's no way that there's not a God. The rest is understanding the actuality of God, right? And so through that, I eventually started looking things and saying like, if one just stays within the divine order of things, there's no reason why one can't explore all of these forbiddens and these taboos that the alleged authority on, on God's will, church says is forbidden. And you eventually find out that some of the things that were forbidden, it's good reason that it was forbidden, but they just didn't tell you the good reason it was forbidden. They told you a bad reason, misinterpreted reasons or whatever. And then there's other things where you just throw it outright because you realize that it's part of a manipulation and things of this matter. And eventually you're able to kind of like feel less and less guilty about the path that you're taking until it's just kind of an easier weight to shed off. And that's how I kept getting exposed and opened up to it, just within myself, just looking at it and being like, yeah, that's for me. And eventually start getting into ancestral paths and I was already more interested in history. I cared way more about history even when I was a young man, not really quite too awake. It was a better subject for me in school than math was. I tell you that much.
I can definitely. The funny you're telling the story almost like I'm thinking, yeah, that's kind of how Although I didn't do the Dungeons and Dragons things, but. You're right. I loved history, math, not so good, but drawn to that history. Now the question, I just want to question this about you. Do you think, now we talk about past lives or regression and things like that, past memories bleeding through to the next person,
right.
Next lifetime, if you believe in any of that stuff. Of course, if you were with the Catholic Church or the thing, whatever, they told you, don't ever think of that. That's bad. No such thing. Anyway, right. you would if that's bleeding through, that's going to waken you up, and then you're going to go towards. I notice like you can't shift somebody's spirit away from things they like. If you like the color blue in one lifetime, I think you would like the color blue in the next. You're not going to say, no, I hate blue now, I want red.
Right. Well, unless something happened in that prior life that created an unresolved karma that is associated on a psychological level to the color blue, and then in the next life, you have an issue with the color blue that you can choose to resolve or not.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, in general, if I like coffee. Right. I don't like coffee personally. I like tea. But why am I drawn to tea and I don't like coffee? Whereas other people like coffee. Would that something like that would probably bleed into the next lifetime, unless I had this obsession with coffee or tea or something and I drank myself to death on it. But which wouldn't happen. But I'm just that's how I've seen it with all the people I've interviewed and everything. I think that might be. See, you might be drawn to it because you give off the appearance of like a Norseman, Right. I mean, you could be a Viking and right. Say, I'm a Viking. And I would, yeah. You are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my father's side of the family is for the most part of Norman descent.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely. I believe it. So how did you get to reading the runes? And then you just picked up that, because not too many people read the runes versus
right.
And why the runes? Because of the Norse descent.
Yeah, like that was the main reason why I started looking at them. And I wasn't looking at them because I had yet decided I'm gonna go and do that. Because I wasn't even doing tarot, I think, yet. Yeah, no, I wasn't even doing tarot yet at that time. That was all stuff that that was coming about as I was jumping out of all of the I was never new age, but my craving for understanding consciousness and spirituality and ancient scriptures and things like that, Eastern mysticism and its application in the psychological warfare that we're fighting and the old wounds that we're healing. I was looking at New Age because it was a resource for stuff that I was looking for that was getting me closer to the answers that I really started finding when I jumped into paganism, animism, because that's where that's where things were making way more sense, is when somebody started explaining, well, the way this works with all these gods and all these spirits is through animism. It's like, oh, what's animism? Right. And animism is really was the original belief structure. It's like the default belief structure of people when they're not being mystified by the personification of forces, right? When we talk about whether it's in Vedic scriptures, in Africa with the Obia, Native American cultures or whatever, there are certain places where specifically there's the understanding of similarity of forms, like the Navajo. In the English tongue, they call their pantheon the holy people, and the holy people, the reason why men are created by the holy people is because they're five-fingered beings, right? And so all the five-finger beings have a specific relationship to human beings because of their relationship to the holy people, right? So reptiles like this, they have 5 digits on their hands. Primates have 5 digits on their hands. So anything that's got basically the 5-digit situation is here from the holy people to teach us something, which I didn't realize that, at the time when I got an iguana and the years back when I had bearded dragons.
Mm-hmm. So they have 5 digits?
That's right. There's a specific correlation with these deities in Navajo, and so that's just making a few interesting distinctions again that are the exception, not the rule, to what's really being spoken about in animism, which is these conscious forces, right? Odin isn't literally an old man with one eye, walks with a cane, or wields a spear, and all these different features. Those are all things that are explaining a specific Jungian style archetype that also is a real conscious force, both as a reflection within you that you grow into, because when you become an old man, you have to become more like Odin because of Odin, his association with wisdom and all the things that those experiences that bring you wisdom gives you in your edge, in being all things that you are capable of being, right? So that's a particular way that that Odin is understood. He's lost an eye because one eye he sacrificed to put into the well of memories. And the well of memories gives him the ability to see both in the here and now and in the past, to have a higher tactical establishment of the future. Right. And so these are qualities. And when you are behaving in ways that reflect the usage of those kinds of qualities, you're kind of tapping into the teaching, the lessons that the All Father has bestowed upon you as his child.
Nice. Older and wiser. I guess there's and younger and stronger, and that has something to do with it, because like Thor was the young guy, and he was, even from the the Avengers thing that you watch, he
Right.
goes out there and he's smash,
Right.
beat them all up, and Odin's there saying, no, when he gets in trouble, no, he's my son. He just didn't understand what he was doing. Get back. We'll make things right.
And that's not even Odin and Thor's relationship. Quite in the Eddas. That's just Disney.
But
that's Marvel. Well, that's not even Disney. That's Marvel.
Yes,
like that. Yeah,
but I'm just saying is that because I'm trying to refer, because everybody's gonna think, everybody thinks of it in that respect, but they still use that meaning as Odin was always wiser and stronger in that respect, using his wisdom to use strength as wisdom, and Thor was using strength as power.
Well, like Thor also like he's a guy who he's got this knack of he is intelligent because Odin is his father. So he is also very, very intelligent, but he's also a blunt force object because his mother is the earth itself, right? His mother is Jord. Jord is the Old Norse word for the earth as a whole. And that's part of it's not just the like there's the animism of it, which was me kind of explaining those personality types, right? But as a forces type, we get into the dynamism of it, where it's not about the consciousness, the spiritual side, but more about the invisible kind of physics of it. Is that Thor is a force within the electromagnetic energy that is in the air between the sun and the earth. It's that electromagnetic spectrum that is basically part of gravity, right? The issue of what gravity is, right? And yes, if you believe we live in a realm, you can have gravity in your realm. It doesn't mean that gravity's not real. People, realmers, thank you. Running around embarrassing us with your fake gravity claims. But anyway, but yeah, so that's Thor. In the dynamism sense, is like if this happens, that fell to earth because Thor's hammer just came down, right? That's one way of looking at how that works as a principle, and what you see, which is cool because you're not gonna get that in the Eddas or whatnot, but in the over the topness of Marvel, it's actually helpful. Is Thor, the most powerful ways that Thor uses his hammer is he gives it this hyper rotation. Well, he's cranking up an electromagnet on a magical level. And that's what's happening. And he's giving it a maximum amount of shock charge to do all of the stuff that it can do. And then he can handle that running through his body because he's a god.
Yeah, they can do mystical things, can't they? But
that's right.
Oh yeah. Well, I
don't you think that's like it's like when you look at the as above, so below thing, it's also a way of showing you that all of these astrological, the stars, the moon, the sun, where we're at in the solar system, all these have a huge effect on us and an effect on our powers.
They do. This is a lesser known revelation that's come out, but my colleague, I did an interview with him on my channel, Scott Carlson, who has the Northern Paganism series on the Scott Carlson YouTube channel. Shout out to him. Like he revealed this stuff to me, right? Like the Aesir, the sky gods, as they're called, right? Part of the thing that makes the sky gods is because they're actually represented in various constellations telling a story. What we know of as Orion is, Orion is not what the Indo-Europeans called Orion. That's Thor. Thor and Orion are the same thing. Thor is known for having a magical belt that is part of what gives him the ability to lift Mjolnir. So that's Orion's belt right there as well as the belt being a representation of having excellent core strength, having abdominal power, because your lower self, where your cauldron of power resides, and gives you your energy, that's in that area as well. That's your your solar plexus, your navel chakra, actually in particular, right? So it's having that energy is a big part of it, because that's his big earthen mother side coming through.
Wow. Yeah. And then so we're okay. So you got all of that, and yeah, we all love Thor, because he has the belt, and then you got Loki. And Loki is the big trickster.
Right.
He is the one who didn't Loki have the boat that folded up into a suitcase? Wasn't it him, or was it
No. Loki doesn't have a boat, but Loki,
one of them did.
Loki has a boat in Ragnarok. He has a boat called Naglfar, which
I knew there was a boat.
Which I think Naglfar means fingernails, because the hull is made out of the fingernails that have been scraped on the wood, and that's all an allegory for people that are in anguish about things, right? Because this is coming out of Helheim. This boat has the army of the dead that flood into Midgard when reality breaks down, right? Like the Norse cosmology of the Ragnarok was extremely useful for helping me cope with the world crashing around me in 2020, because that was like Naglfar coming in, and then here are all of these undead warriors. They're kind of like zombie vampire types. We call them Draugr. And these are the masses of the dead yet able to be directed as an army. And this was the mask Gestapo coming down on us, was the manifestation of that. And so by understanding animism, you're understanding these forces when someone like Loki gets unleashed, because he comes out bound up with all of your withheld unconscious karma, because that's what Loki's original purpose, that has also gone through a lot of corruption, that is something you won't hear about in the Eddas, because the Eddas are not about this part of Loki. This is something that requires the broader understanding of the occult studies. Is that there's a lot of things that have come into this world since the natural understanding of Loki was established, that got added on to Loki, which is why they kept trying to make him into a devil figure, because there is that part has been put on him, and he can't take that off because of his nature as the karma police. Right? But originally he was just basically a guy who came in, and he is compelled to enforce karma, right? It's just like, well, you didn't realize where you were walking, and so now you stubbed your toe. That's Loki, right? He's making sure you stubbed your toe because you weren't paying attention to where you were walking. But also, you weren't paying attention to where you were walking, and you turned your head and you noticed a $50 bill lying on the ground. That is also Loki, right? And it just is what it is. It's sometimes the greatest things happen, right? Loki is responsible for giving Odin his horse, and his horse, there's nothing in the stories that says we got to worry about Odin's horse. Odin's horse is straight. Nothing bad about Loki went into that horse. It was always reliable. It allows Odin to go to all the realms all the time.
And speaking of the horse, so Odin can go on the horse to all the realms. And something we talk about here a lot is the light bridge.
Yes.
that is really interesting, because I think the light bridge is kind of right up here in our heads. Is that not right? So
Right,
explain
right.
the light bridge to us a little bit. I know you know about the light bridge.
Oh yes, yes. One of the things, one of the big things that I studied is there's a stuff gets adapted and it becomes my own. And I don't want to get into any like crazy habits of just shouting out everybody that that I've adopted everything from. But there was a cosmology that got unlocked that helped out through comparisons, observational comparisons between Norse cosmology, Vedic cosmology. Michael William Denny, the Thunder Wizard, he came up with this stuff. And if you look at my streams, there's a diagram map of an Aegis Yolmer, the 8-pointed wheel. And I usually have that framed, up over my head. And it's a psyche map reference point with all 9 realms represented, and 7 of those realms are represented by chakras, because of the 7 levels of consciousness that they represent. And then 2 of those realms are represented by energy meridians, which Helheim in the underworld is coming from the mouth meridian, because of the unconscious garbage that will spew from it when backed into a corner. And Asgard is the crown chakra. So you've got the mouth meridian and all the garbage, and the crown chakra with all of the connection to heaven. And so the Asgard realm has the rainbow bridge. And the rainbow bridge, that's about the full spectrum of consciousness that merges together in the highest place in your mind. And this is your super consciousness. This is your most forward thinking. Everything that is proactively operating in your head right now that's going to bring about your next questions and reactions to what I am saying, that is your council of gods, as a reflection of you in this particular context, not the gods, but your reflection of the gods in your head, having their council and figuring out what they agree on as to make the next decision. And that God council then in our ancestors' time manifested in a government system called the Thing. The Thing was kind of like a court, and the chief of the tribe was the head adjudicator in it. And if it was a serious meeting, it would be called an all thing. And that's where you've got like decisions like going to war versus like, what do we have for dinner? Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I like to, a lot of the concepts like that match that, they're similar, but not the same, come to the activation of the pineal gland. And then that transmits the rainbow, and the rainbow communicates it gives you the ability to connect to the higher parts of self. And it's so funny. And then we have these tribes and these councils that are formed, and it's so funny. And we look at the Bible, we've got the disciples, and a lot of the numbers are 12, which is the 12 cranial nerves in the brain. So it's so beautiful how you can see as above, so below, in the physical realm matching the spiritual realm in function and form, in essence, just one seen and one unseen, one micro, one macro.
You know what I've noticed in every one of these different religion things, or different, I don't even want to call them religions or stories, or regardless if it's Thor and Odin, or or if it's the Jesus story, or if it's the Buddha story or the Krishna story or whatever, they're always about, here's the crown, here's the thing, the lights, the whatever, and then your chakras. That's what they're talking about, in yourself too, like you were talking about Loki. Loki is the, he's your, what did you say, ego or whatever that makes you trip on that thing, or also find the $50, or he's that part of you. And Odin's the wise part of you, and Thor is the strong, connected to earth part of you. And every one of those other ones, they have something similar, some not as masculine, or some are more fair or docile, each one has its own, but I think they're all still trying to tell the same story in some way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of interesting common bonds. I mean, especially like I said, like with the constellations there, right? It's a northern hemisphere constellation storytelling elements that are all happening up there with that, and that's what's telling all the Aesir stories. The Vanir stories are told by nature itself. That's looking at all the animals and all the forests and the mountains and all of those things. And so you look to the earth to understand the Vanir. You look to the sky to understand the Aesir, and then it's the relationship between the two is what gives you your full court of Asgard.
Yeah, and that in some way that resembles like the Greeks had Zeus, and he was at the top, and then it worked its way down with all the other different gods and minor gods.
Everybody's got that. Literally everybody's got that, and it's even affirmed in the Bible when you look at the subtext of the Bible, because they worked very hard to hide the multifacetedness that that those Hebrew texts were originally coming from, because the way the Hebrews had changed a whole bunch of things, in their own way, allegedly, right? Because there's 4 uses for God in there. So his proper name as Yahweh, we all understand that. Roman interchangeable with Jehovah, Yahweh, Jehovah, and then there's the references to God that aren't his name. So everybody understands Elohim, and everybody here I know knows Elohim is plural. And then everybody gets that it's plural for El, right? Now, the third one, which is slightly less known, but you look around and you'll see it plenty, is Eloha. Eloha. And Eloha is the chief Elohim, right? So you always have a pantheon, but you always have the high seat. And then there's always other deities that are interested in being in that seat, or and stuff of that nature. In the Norse cosmology, Odin's seat in Asgard. Most of the Edda stories are about Odin, so it's assumed that he's always on that throne. But it's not true. When the Eddas talk about how Tyr used to be on that throne, the Eddas are telling you a story that takes place within one cycle of a system, right? And so the microcosm of that system is a year, and that year goes from winter to winter, right? And so it is that summertime, spring, summer, if you will. That's when Tyr rules, and there's less problems in the world, right? And so there's less stories about things the gods are doing in summertime, because much of what the gods are doing is all involving the treacheries of dealing with winter. And so that's a big aspect of it. And then they talk about things like the Fimbulvinter, the Great Winter, which implies that there's one thing when you're going through a dark night of the soul, but then there's another thing when the whole world is really, really coming to an end. And it's that dreaded precursor when things are hard and dour before all control is lost, right? And that's the Fimbulvinter, which also probably was a way that we were doing things like understanding the Ice Age that we were living through up until just before recorded history started kicking off again in the Middle Eastern region and Far Asia.
Wow. I'm learning stuff tonight. I mean, that's the thing is I know a little bit. Trina, what do you know about the Norse mythology, versus the other ones?
Not nearly as much as Steve, but it's part of my my genealogy, you know, Irish, Scottish, Norwegian,
Mhm.
Welsh.
Mm.
That's where I come from. So I've always been drawn to it. And that was the first thing I ever purchased in my entire life was I bought this little bag of ruins. This was the
Oh,
very
wow.
first thing I ever bought in my life. I was 16
Huh.
years old, and
Wow.
mine are they're glass and they're sparkly.
Nice.
They're
Are they
they're really
elder
pretty.
Futhark or younger Futhark?
I don't know the difference between those two.
Are there 16 or 24 of them?
24.
Okay, that should be Elder Futhark. I'm pretty sure there aren't any other systems on 24.
There's 25 because I have the unknowable rune.
Oh,
number
okay. You get the
25.
Unknowable Rune. Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
If you don't know too much about that, the Unknowable Rune was added later.
Yeah.
Especially because like the runes being used for divination are not in history. Divination with the runes is a modern discovery. It's true, it's real, it's powerful. I can attest to that.
Yes.
But it's literally a practice of the runes that if it was done in complete secret. And runes, they mean whisper or secret.
Yes.
When you know, so like you would actually say the word rune in conversation, like if somebody speaks up about something and you don't want anybody else to be, you'd be like rune, you know, like
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's a lot that people miss now in the in the way the Old Norse is, right? So it's so so this discovery, it still has to fit uniform to what the depth of the meaning of the runes are, because they were still used of course for aspects of sigil craft, of course, as well as secret writings, casting you know, blessings from the gods, so on and so forth.
I'm gonna have to go get me some runes. Is there better runes than the other runes? 12 or 24s?
Yeah, I would go with the 24 because numerology matters, just like it like 72 cards in a tarot deck. So tarot decks will do the unknown card as well. So I'll tell you why I think the unknown card, although people can argue for it, it's actually redundancy, right? So an unknown card in tarot, the Wheel of Fortune is the card for the unknown. That's the point of the Wheel of Fortune card. It represents the unknown. The equivalent in the runes is Pertho. The Pertho rune is the chance rune. It is the Dharma rune. It is you know, it is about the presentation of your fate. That's Pertho. So that is your unknown rune. Yeah, because you want 24, because 24 gives you 3 sets of 8. Gives you 3 sets of 8, and 9 is the holiest number in Norse cosmology. But having these 3 sets of 8 has a special place, with the 9th being with the 9 being implied as the whole, and the 8 has this element of the infinite to it, and that's because they go through cycles, and the 3 sets of 8 are 3 cycles of human development through the lower self, the higher self, and the middle self.
Wow, that is. But and okay, so when you're reading runes, is it the same? Like you read, I mean, you know, we got cards, you know, I got cards here too. But when you read the cards, you know, is different, or reading a rune, you got to pull more runes, or you read one rune and
a rune is an expression of a flow of energy.
Okay.
Where a tarot card, for instance, is capturing a moment of the psyche. Got it? So one is about psyche and the other is about energy. And then that's how they work. Because on top of me doing runes and tarot, amongst people I've seen that do runes and tarot, I'm seem to be the only one that's doing it as a synthesis. If I do a spread, there's a rune and a tarot in each spread position. And so the tarot is explaining the psyche of that place in time and space, and the rune is explaining the energy in that place in time and space.
I see. That is way interesting. Now, I okay, not to make you go and do some work or whatever, but it is Isby's birthday. I see.
Okay.
Isby's birthday. Could you do a rune reading for him and use him as a test example while you're doing it, so we can all
Happy birthday, Isby.
learn
All right.
a little bit about this? You know, I was gonna say, well, give us an example, but here we got a guy who's it's his birthday. Hey, he's
All
older,
right.
Happy birthday.
older than we
All right.
are.
Happy birthday. Happy solar return.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Happy
Isby,
Be Earth Day.
That's right.
Isby, you've got the Manaj rune. The Manaj rune.
I'm gonna enlarge that so everybody can see it. Hang on.
That's so
Remember, you got to
awesome.
say something when you do it. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the Manaj rune. This is the letter M in the old Norse alphabet here. This is associated with the mind, with mankind, with the moon. Okay, so with this on your birthday, you are going through a lot of there's a lot of good social connection happening with you on this birthday. You know, I've had a number of more lonely birthdays as of late because of the whole hermit process of telling, you know, everybody since 2020 to F off. You're not having that kind of problem. You know, you're you know, there's a lot of good exchanges between you and other people on a mental level. You know, there's good moods going about, right? So all right, so that's that's an example right there. That's an expression of energy. It's something going on in the mind. It's something going on a social, on a grander social construct.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So runes are energy and cards are what is it? Cards are but anyway, I got it. Psyche. I'm thinking in my head, thinking too many words in my head, trying to go all at the same time. Sorry.
No worries, dude.
Hey, can I read my interpretation of what that rune says and tell me what you think about the interpretation?
Sure. Yeah.
This is the book I have. I've had it for years.
Okay.
And I've always liked it. So
okay.
this says it's the ruin of self. The starting point is the self. The essence is water. Only clarity, willingness to change is effective now. A correct relationship to yourself is primary. For from it flow all possible right relationship with others and with the divine. It's like precisely what you were saying. Remain modest that this oracle, the counsel, regardless of how great may be your merit, be yielding and devoted and moderate. For then you have a true direction in your life. Be in the world, but not of it. And yet do not be closed, narrow, or judging. Rather, remain receptive to impulses flowing from the divine within and without. Strive to live an ordinary life in a non-ordinary way. Remember at all times what is coming to be and passing away, and focus on that which abides. Nothing less is called for you now. This is a major time for growth and reflection and rectification. And as a rule, rectification must come before progress. The field is always tilled before the seed is planted, and the garden is weeded before the flowers bloom. And the self must know stillness before it can discover its true song. Now is not a time to seek credit for accomplishment or to focus on results, but instead be content to do your task for the task's sake. Herein lies a secret of experiencing a true present. If you take the rune of self and cut it down the middle, you will see the rune for joy with its mirror image. There is here a subtle caution against carelessness. The self is required to balance the self. Nothing in excess was the second phrase written over the gate of the temple at Delphi. The first counsel was know thyself.
There's a lot of that was within the realm of Manaj. I'm not sure if because like the self stuff in particular, Issa is the rune of the self in the way that my study and my determination has ended up going with it. Issa, which is the I, so literally like saying I, right? It's all that same thing, and it means ice as well.
Yeah, that's what mine says.
Yeah.
Ice, standstill, reflection, meditation, going
Ice,
inward.
right? Yeah, that's Issa. That's Issa. But Manaj, yeah, but the stuff about the connections with other people, that part is all very, very spot on, because it's about where your mind is at with other people, and absolutely correct about the joy rune, which is called Wunjo. Wunjo is which is the word, that's the word for joy. Wunjo. You can say Wunjo, and it just means you're happy about something. Yeah, and it's and that implication in the reflection is with Manaj and other people, you're seeing your mind reflected back to you, and it's satisfying, because the joy is actually more appropriately satisfaction. That it comes from the feeling of affirmation, of reward for work that was put in.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it how it's always so many, there's so many interpretations, and a lot of them are so similar, and then they're so different, but it's so beautiful because like you've produced your own runes, and you've connected them in a way where they just talk to you. You just you just get it. Yeah, you just get it the way you get it, and it's full comprehension because you put so much energy into it. I've always wanted to learn more about tarot. I've never really done it or studied it.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah. Well, I have a foundation because I've always looked into these things, but I've never really practiced any of them. So lately I've been really drawn because I've studied symbology now, and I'm learning all these things and gathering all this information. I was like, I feel like I just want to get a deeper connection. And it's so funny. It showed up for me at the Renaissance Fair. I found a tarot coloring book. So now I get to color every single card, and I can learn it and connect to it and go into it because I'll be creating it. And I just haven't determined it if I want to do it identically to the writer or if I want to make it my own way. So kind of going between that. But I was like, it's interesting how we find our own way to connect with different tools at different times. And some of them, they just really anchor. But that was my first thing ever was the ruins. I was like, I like those. Those are amazing.
They are absolutely amazing. On my channel, I've got a playlist called Personal Development Through the Runes and the Tarot. And in that, I go through all of the runes in order of the 3/8 that I talked about. And then I've got a couple of videos that go through all 72 cards in the deck. And I have to finish the series, but on my Instagram, which I noticed was linked in the description below, in my Instagram, if you look at my archive photos in my Instagram, I kind of put a stop on it for a while, but I've uploaded a bunch of flashcards. I finished everything, but I got 2 more of the lower arcana to do on the tarot. But each one posts a picture of the rune or the tarot card, and then there's a splash of information. And I take you know, and so like, you know, it's like a little blurb that isn't designed to be a comprehensive explanation of the card, but meant to be kind of a statement of expression that makes you feel what the card is about.
Mhm. Yeah.
Speaking of cards and all stuff, you know, there's somebody else in our soul tribe here that is making their own cards too for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I have some pictures of those cards right here. And I just wanted to show you because Big Al's been working really hard on them.
All right.
So here we go. And this is, I think y'all can see that. This one is a Visheria. I'm never
Wow.
Vesheria.
Vesha,
See, on the
Vesheria. Oh yeah, he's got the phonetics on the bottom. Very nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're invoking your
Vesha.
demons properly.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So that's and a sign of Mercury. He's got it all on there. Here's another one. This one is Lika Vel. I hope I said it. Vel. And yeah, that's some of the ones he's done. So, and his cards are on the Crystal Network. You got to pre-order them, or you don't have to pre-order, but you should pre-order them, and then you can get the deck out. But I told him, he sent me these today. Oh, look, he's got a little bear down here. That's cool. It's got little glowing eyes on it. This
Mhm.
one's Yi Cha Hi Hu Ha.
Ichuya.
It's so
Ichuya.
You know, if I could talk, I could read these things.
I almost thought it was like a funny way of pronouncing Yeshua. I don't know if that's
Me too. I saw that, and for a minute too, I was looking at that, going, "What was that?" Yeah.
Yeah, Yeshua.
Yichuea. Yichuia.
Oh.
I think it's Ia. Yeah.
Oh, there's another one with a bear on here. I don't know where you got the bear with the glowing eyes, but that's pretty cool. This one's Kivahar. I ain't even gonna try.
Quebecia.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There we go.
Quebecia. Yeah, Quebecia.
And
Menadal.
Menadal. Another bear. This one don't have glowing eyes though. And hey, there we go. That must have been the end.
There's my soul tribe.
There you go.
Part of it.
I love it. We're all fitting. Al, you got to make a little bit bigger car.
I know, right? I know. We gotta see. I got the car, and I'm just bringing part of the tribe. We get the whole rest hooked up in the school bus. Wayne's driving the bus.
It's the clown car to enlightenment.
Yes, absolutely.
I know it. There you go. There you go, Big Al. I told you I'd put him on. There you go. But anyhow, you know, this has been really good, and I tell you, the runes. I'm going to get me some runes. And
could you do a reading for the Soul Tribe, Steve?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I would so
Awesome.
like that. I think everybody else too. I know Delaney
All right.
wanted one, but I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we all want
Yeah.
one. Do one for
Yeah.
all of us.
Yes, all of us.
Because we don't have enough time for everybody, and we want
Yeah.
to be fair.
Sure,
So-
sure. All right. So, I'll just do what I do with a normal reading. So let me grab an animal spirit first. Oh, we've got our Golden Orb Spider has graced us with her presence.
Ooh.
So this is a fire elemental. Yeah, these are fire elemental, the Golden Orb Spider.
Ooh.
So Golden Orb Spider is encompasses messenger, balance, awareness, and design. By the way, because it is a spider, I do have to mention the thing about spiders is that they're directly connected to things of networking nature. They're actually very connected to the very weird itself, and the weird is the connective energy force of the runes. The lines that make up a rune are cross sections of the web of weird that are they're specific angles that basically create these forms, and then that gets into the whole principle of what an angle is and why an angle may be an angel, so on and so forth, right? So
Yeah.
so that's the Golden Orb Spider, deeply connected to these things. So then I'll grab 3. I'm going to be pulling from my Wildwood Tarot deck, which is my personal favorite. This is a very pagan oriented deck. And so this is the kind of tarot deck that's got different symbolism on the card than stuff that emulates like a Rider-Waite Smith. All right, so we're just going to do I call it a 4-point reading, focus, past, present, future with rune and tarot. So in our focus position, we have the wheel. So here is the wheel right here. So this is a shirt that's being sewn together on like a little board for fitting it. And like I said, with the way the web of weird works, so that's got that relationship to it because that's the wheel of fortune, effectively. So so right now, everybody is kind of in a place of open availability to new opportunity presenting itself.
You know what I keep hearing, Steve? I keep hearing it's a web of consciousness connecting to new webs of consciousness.
Precisely. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Wow.
Yep. It's the same thing as your neural network. It's connected to the Akashic records. It's pretty much kind of like it's the energy connections of the ether itself. That's the wheel.
Yeah. That's what a spider was, golden spider too. That's cool.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
This is the Degage rune. Degage rune, the letter D. This is the rune of the shining luminescent energy of the sun.
Wow.
So here it's just about shedding light on all of these open possibilities to bring it about to you, to get you excited about what is emerging in the future. So how did we get to this point? We look into the past now. We have the stag reversed. The stag is the 8 position. So this is this is from the strength cards perspective, if you will, is the stag. And here you've got the deer-headed shaman with a drum. This is going to effectively, this invokes Sami culture to a certain extent. And so the stag is about your strength and your persistence in this hunt, but we see that it's reversed here, right? So in the past, everybody was having a struggle with the pursuits of their desires, right? That's a big issue going on here. And what do we have with the rune? And here's the Isa rune. Right there. That's the eye, right? So this was because there was conflict between these desires and our identity, right? I too have been certainly going through this, to the point where it technically manifested in the real, because I have 2 rune sets. The rune set that I made personally that I usually carry around with me, that's made from Hollywood little chips. I lost one in the set, and I lost the Isa rune in that set. And I kind of looked at it and I stopped and I said, wow, I just lost a part of that set, and it's the one for the I am. It's just like, I got to stop, because that's a message that I'm losing myself right now, right? So, I've taken that as a sign to stop what I am doing, because I'm forgetting myself somewhere, right? So that's a way that I went, and I needed to interpret the rune as it was for me. So that's how that applies to me, and I know that that's going to be applying to you guys. All right. So now in our present moment, we have the archer, which is the chariot. So we've gone from 8 to 7, right? So here in the present moment, with the archer here, we've got the target, insights. We despite it being a Wheel of Fortune situation, there's a certainty and a focus that is come into view for us. But I've pulled the Uruj rune reversed. Uruj, which normally looks like this, is where we get our letter U, which it actually looks like a U when it's upside down. And this represents the aurochs. It represents which is the male bull. This is about strength and vitality. So there's a lot of guys, a lot of guys here in this present moment. You may be dealing with things that are dilapidating your weakness, dilapidating your strength in a certain sense, and you're having more weakness or perhaps illness is right now stifling your ability to let that arrow fly to hit the target, right? So you're going to have to go through a strengthening, a very literally physical improvement of yourself in order to move on to the next step, because you need to up and use all the resources of your knowledge and your ability and your authority to pull you up to the next level of strength. Now, last card in Rune in our future position. What should be? We have the Great Bear. This is 20. So this is in that judgment position just before you hit the end of it, right? So the Great Bear. This is that final test. This represents the final rite of passage before you can have the entire world at your shoulders. So you're going to be going through quite a big test in the near future. And the rune associated with that is Tiwaj reversed. All right, so we got to talk about this for a half second, because that's bad. It's always bad when a rune's reversed. Not bad, but it means the energy is blocked. All right, so when Tiwaj is blocked, it means that you are off base on the highest truths, on right action. Things are not of the most righteous and just cause, and it requires a lot of deep emotional journeying to kind of find out what's missing with achieving your highest purpose, right? So that's something you have to watch out for, because you might be ending up a little off direction, right? That can result, once again, you've got the archer here in the middle, and the archer could miss badly.
Mhm.
And remember, you've got the weakness that you have to work on too.
Right on. Yeah. Did we lose Robert?
I muted
There he
myself,
is.
so I didn't make a lot of
Sorry,
noise.
I was like, oh shoot, did we lose Robert?
No. I'm here. No, I was writing all that stuff down. So
You know what's so
you know,
weird? That
we got
child prophet, when she spoke about that we would have to dive through three holes, three black holes. I wonder if the whole CERN thing, I wonder if we've actually already gone through this. I wonder that sometimes, because when I saw the bear card, I literally saw, get ready, guys, you're going through another wormhole. You're getting ready to go through another portal, and it's not going to be fun, but we're going to come out the other side okay. But I thought, oh, shoot. And then I saw the arrow. I was like, oh, shit. Does that mean it's go time?
People I keep hearing this idea that sometime in March, a major revelation is going to be forced on the world, it will be a truth. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like the media is going to be forced to tell the truth, or the media is going to do something that literally just flips the Overton window or whatever. But March apparently is a date for a major break in the continuity of the lies of the past, with all of this work that we have done, right? And that's allegedly what all of this panic posturing is, because they're going to have a hard time cooking up new distractions because of how dispersed everybody is, because they got, they're triggered the F out, and a lot of people, they're shut down now because their identities were completely related to all these old assumptions, and they never thought that there'd be such a break in the cycle of life like this. Or like I knew that they could break the cycle of life. I just thought that timeline had changed, but no, that timeline hadn't changed. There was still a lot of pain for even me to go through. But at least after it happened, I was like, all right, so I effed up and things were going to get a lot worse than I thought they did. And now I'm caught on my arse, but at least I know what the hell is happening, as much as I hate it. Right. So eventually I was able to get back on my feet, because I wasn't going to play a victim about it either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we all been having a feeling of something is coming. We just, none of us know when it is. It's just something's going to happen. And the thing is I think with the world, like the news media and stuff, and the governments and whoever you want to talk about, they cover things up until it's just so obliviously in your face that they can't cover it up anymore. So then they, either just try to distract you, or then they say, well, I guess that was true. All those conspiracy guys, they had a point and they were right. And then, oh, well, okay. And then the bad part is there's some people that are so in the dark, or that can't see anyway. They still go on about their lives thinking that the false truth that they told before is still real.
Yeah. It's what happens when it takes too many levels of changing your world, right? It's that they're in a completely different world, and they're trying to put the influence of that world that they live in into other people's worlds, and it's not very strong. It's based on too many lies, and even the premise of achieving anybody's results based on that perception of reality are pure fallacy, right? And they don't have the self-awareness to see it. But people that aren't as invested in that world as they are, it becomes an example to them of things that are wrong, right? Because right now it's just like all sorts of different people are just having their, all of these different controllers keep popping out of the woodwork, and then they just get knocked down by people across the new paradigm shift, who are just like, no, it's obviously not like that. Here's how we're going to mock you relentlessly because you don't have self-awareness, and we can't let other people hear your dangerous lies, but we don't have to censor you to do that. We just have to completely destroy everything wrong with your logic, right? And we don't need to convince you. We need to make you lose your audience, right? They'll walk away from you because you're just terrible. And that's what people are doing,
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. But anyhow, we went a little long in the tooth, but before we go too long, we're going to have to say it was a good show. Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve,
Yeah.
for coming on. Trina,
Yeah.
it's been great to having you back in the co-host seat again. And Steve Locke is up there. He's been patient all night long.
Hey,
Yeah.
he decided to be chill today. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes he likes to freaking jump for it.
Can I end with a beautiful quote I found in the book of this rune book I have?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Lift up the self by thyself, and don't let the self drop down. For the self is the self's only friend, and the self is the self's only foe.
Nice. And with that,
So true.
everybody, remember, be the frequency you want to receive. I love you all.
Love you all.
Take care. Give everybody a big hug. And remember, they're all important. You're all important. And we'll see you next time. Peace, everybody.
Here.